I don't remember the person, but I don't remember.
So you can recognize them. You will see them like a big floating square in the ocean.
Camino de Santiago to Finisterre Day Tour, 7 stops by Galicia Travels. This is a full-day guided bus tour that takes you from Santiago de Compostela to Finisterre, Fisterra, and other iconic locations along Galicia's rugged Atlantic coast, historically known as the Costa de Mort, Coast of Death. It's a perfect extension of the Camino de Santiago, offering insight into its legendary final stretch. Finisterre, or Fisterra in Galician, is one of the most emblematic destinations in Galicia and a place full of symbolism. Known as the final stop of the Camino de Santiago for many pilgrims, its name comes from the Latin Finisterrae, meaning end of the earth, as the Romans believed that beyond this cape, nothing existed. Visiting Cape Finisterre is not only a spiritual experience, but also a scenic one. Here you'll find breathtaking cliffs, the famous Finisterre Lighthouse, wild beaches like Mar de Fora, and charming fishing towns full of character. It's a place where nature commands respect, and every spot has a story to tell. If you're in Santiago, taking a tour to Finisterre is one of the best ways to connect with the true soul of Galicia. With Galicia Travels, enjoy an unforgettable experience exploring the spectacular Costa de Mort on this tour to Finisterre, Muxia, and other coastal destinations from Santiago de Compostela. A perfect one-day excursion for those looking to discover the essence of Galicia. Unique landscapes, historic towns, and the mythical Camp Zero of the Camino de Santiago. During the tour, we visit iconic places such as the Finisterre Lighthouse, the stunning Ezaro waterfall, the sanctuary of Muxia, and charming fishing villages like Muros. All in one day, with a professional Spanish-speaking guide, comfortable bus transportation, and free time at each stop to explore, take photos, or taste the best of Galician cuisine. We joined the English-speaking tour the day after arriving in Santiago de Compostela. Nestled at the northern edge of the Ria de Muros y Noia, Porto de Muros is the lively fishing port of the charming town of Muros in Galicia. Recognized as one of Spain's most authentic and picturesque maritime towns, it remains deeply tied to its seafaring past. Founded in the medieval era, Porto de Muros became a key fishing and trade port under royal patronage in the 13th century. At its peak, the town played a vital role in sardine exports across Europe. It was officially designated a historic site in 1970, thanks to its well-preserved marine architecture, traditional granite arcaded houses lining the waterfront. Historic Old Town. Wander through narrow alleys flanked by classic arcaded houses, charming squares like Plaza de Santa Rosa and Pescaderia Vieja, and the Gothic Marine San Maria do Campo Church. Carnota is a picturesque coastal town located in the province of A Coruña, in the autonomous community of Galicia, northwestern Spain. Nestled between the Atlantic Ocean and the mountains, it is known for its natural beauty, rich cultural heritage, and tranquil, authentic Galician atmosphere. A unique and iconic granary built in 1768 and one of the largest traditional horios, elevated grain stores, in Spain, measuring about 34 meters long. The Fervenza do Ezaro, or Ezaro waterfall, is one of the most spectacular natural wonders in Galicia. The waterfall drops about 40 meters, 130 feet, in a dramatic cascade over granite rocks. What makes it truly unique is that it is the only river in Europe, the Zalaz River, that plunges directly into the Atlantic Ocean in the form of a waterfall.
Yes, because over there.
Señores, una monedita cuando se hace fotografía. La cultura no es gratis.
The Cape Finisterre Lighthouse, built 2853, is one of the most iconic landmarks in Galicia and the symbolic end of the world for many travelers and pilgrims. Perched high above the wild Atlantic Ocean, the lighthouse marks the westernmost point of mainland Spain accessible to the public eye. Finisterre comes from the Latin Finisterrae, meaning end of the earth, once believed by ancient Romans to be the edge of the known world. For many pilgrims, especially those walking the Camino de Santiago, this is the true spiritual endpoint after reaching Santiago de Compostela. Finisterre, or Fisterra in Galician, is a picturesque coastal fishing town located on the Atlantic coast of Galicia, near the famous Cape Finisterre. Steeped in maritime history and deep spiritual meaning, it's the final destination for many pilgrims who continue beyond Santiago de Compostela on the Camino de Santiago. Perched above the crashing Atlantic waves, Muxia Lighthouse offers dramatic sea views and is especially stunning during sunsets or stormy weather. The Muxia Lighthouse may not be large, but the panoramic Atlantic views, solitude, and the sense of having reached the edge of the world make it unforgettable. The lighthouse stands as a quiet witness to the journeys of thousands who come not just for the end of a walk, but for the beginning of something deeper. In the coastal town of Muxia, where the land meets the Atlantic in waves of mist and myth, one of Galicia's most profound legends unfolds. According to tradition, the Virgin Mary traveled by stone boat to Muxia to encourage and support Saint James the Apostle, Santiago, in his missionary work. When she arrived, her stone boat broke into pieces upon the rugged shore, and its remnants became the sacred stones still visible today near the Santuario de Virx de Barca. But this holy site also bears a tragic undertone. In local lore, these same waves that once brought the divine also brought sorrow. Many fishermen were lost to the sea over centuries. The ocean, though beautiful, was also feared, a giver and taker of life. Local families passed down stories of wives waiting on the cliffs, watching for ships that never returned, turning the coast of Muxia into a silent witness of love and loss. One of the most enduring tales is of a young woman whose fiancé died at sea. Every day, she visited the rock of the kidney stone, Pedra dos Cadris, believed to have healing powers, and prayed for his return. When her hopes faded, she is said to have thrown herself into the sea, her soul eternally bound to the restless waters. Today, Muxia remains a place of pilgrimage and reflection, where the sea whispers its ancient tragedies and the stones remember. We arrive at the sanctuary of Nossa Senhora de Barca, a building that was built to christen a place where some pagan cults were held by the ancient Celts. The sanctuary sits dramatically on a rocky outcrop where the land meets the crashing waves of the Atlantic Ocean, near the Muxia Lighthouse. Its windswept setting gives it a powerful sense of solitude and reflection. According to tradition, the Virgin Mary appeared here to Saint James the Apostle, Santiago, to encourage him during his missionary work in Galicia. She arrived in a stone boat, and it is said that the remains of this mystical vessel, its sail, keel, and rudder, transformed into the unique stone formations around the site. Ponte Maceira is a picturesque village on either side of the Tamber River, full of stone houses, mills, and peaceful charm. Legend says the Apostle James's disciples crossed here, fleeing Roman soldiers. The stunning stone bridge itself dates back to the 13th century, built over earlier Roman foundations. It features beautiful stone arches and is surrounded by lush greenery, with watermills and cascading river views that make it a favorite photo stop for pilgrims. The Tamber River is a scenic river in the Galicia region of northwestern Spain. It stretches for about 125 kilometers, 78 miles, and flows through lush forests, rolling hills, and charming villages before emptying into the Atlantic Ocean near the Ria de Muros. The river has been central to local livelihoods for centuries, used for mills, fishing, and agriculture.